Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash, and this is week 21 of the Premier League. Frank Lampard says goodbye. They're telling me that Tuchel's coming in. Cannot believe that. I thought that they took Frank Lampard as a 3-year plan. Well, that didn't last long, and that tells you about contracts, players under contracts, managers under contracts. They're not worth the paper they wrote on there. I'm going to have Martin and Matt for this full midweek card. It's massive. There's so many good games. There's so much good value to be had there. But first of all, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button, and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we'll notify you, and you'll never miss any content again. And with this week's schedule, with me spinning it around, you're going to need to subscribe. If it is your first time, then come in the chat, because they're a friendly bunch. There's a few dodgy ones in there, but you get that with every large crowd. You also press a link in the description, then that'll take you over to the articles wrote by either Martin or Chan or Alex or anyone else who writes for any of the sports that we cover on SBR. Then we're going to have two-team parlay. You're our third guest. Don't be sleeping. Get your thumbs. See the thumb? Press it blue. That will take us to new heights of people enjoying the show. Martin, Matt, how are you, gentlemen? I'll come to you first, Martin. FA Cup, a lot of these teams needed that week's break, but now they've got to make sure they gain points in the Premier League.
I'm doing good, thanks, Flash. I've been in NFL mode this morning, writing a big content hub for Sportsbook Review, but delighted to get my Premier League hat back on and start thinking about another exciting game week. Big news on the Frank Lampard front. I think it was coming, wasn't it? Roman Abramovich has got itchy trigger fingers. The results haven't been good enough, and he wants an elite manager in that job. I think Tuchel makes sense, having a German manager that can get Timo Werner and Kai Havertz on board, and it'll be interesting to see how they perform in the second half of the season. But some good looking games on the midweek card, and looking forward to running through them all with you.
Yeah, there's some great games. There's one that really stands out on Thursday. Matt, you look at some of these games and you think to yourself, some of these sides have now got to kick on. They're not going to be worrying about the FA Cup, so now they're going to get their points.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's full focus for a lot of these teams in the Premiership, going forward, really. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, Liverpool bounce out of the competition like they do every single season. So it's probably best for them, really, because right now with their their injuries and their form right now, they really need to focus on the league, because the Champions League places are up for grabs right now. So very interesting week, very interesting card. I like this card, actually. I feel like it's the first time I've said that in quite some time. So I like it, and I'm ready to break it down with you guys as always.
Okay, well, let's go to the first game then. We're going to go to South London. It's Crystal Palace, and they are at plus 225. The draw at plus 220, and West Ham at plus 145. Now, West Ham, we know that they're going great guns. They look balanced. They look tough to beat. But some people will think that Palace are too big, and maybe the unders are in play, Martin.
Yeah, I think this does look like an interesting game. Crystal Palace are very organised, very difficult to break down, as Arsenal found to their detriment a week or two ago. Interested to see the starting lineups. If Crystal Palace's best defender and best attacker are back in the team, then they would stand a better chance of victory. But I do like the away team in this game. There's no fans inside Selhurst Park, so I'm not really worried about that. It's not far for West Ham to travel. So I think they're the better team, and they're in better form. I've been very impressed with them in recent weeks. Had them winning in the FA Cup. They got the job done. I've been betting on them regularly, week in, week out, and they haven't let me down so far. I'm a bit worried about a draw, so I'm going draw no bet in this one, but I really can't see West Ham losing. They look so much more solid this season, and I think they're cruising to a top half finish at this rate, whereas Crystal Palace, I think, will finish considerably lower down the table. So yeah, West Ham draw no bet for me.
I think there's going to be a lot of them. I think there's plenty of value this week on draw no bets. I fancy there could be quite a few draws, but you could go with the home side maybe, because quite a few of these home sides have got big odds. Matt, this does look a little bit like a draw. It looks like an unders. But the big thing about West Ham at the moment is you're not questioning their attitude. They turned up on Saturday from the first minute. I mean, I called that they'd score 5. Obviously, they don't score 5. They only score 4.
That's the thing about West Ham, is they have a proper attitude, and they've had it now for a couple months. I remember listening to press conference after talking with Jared Bowen, the winger over there, and he was brilliant in the press conference. I remember just a couple months ago, just his attitude, his work rate. It's kind of what is this, it's changed this team's mental and what it's all about over the years. So I'm right there with Martin. I grabbed this one like 4 days ago. West Ham draw no bet. I got it at -129. They're unbeaten in 7. They haven't been defeated by Palace in 9 of 11. Palace are struggling to score goals. It's one of those to me where we're getting the team that's in better form. They're better all around, and we're getting them at a draw no bet price. So I'll take it. It's up to like -150 now. So you're kind of starting to, see some of that where it's a little bit trickier. But I think that -129 for me was really fair, and I like the hammers here.
Yeah, I do think it's an unders game. Sorry, but Claudio's just reminded me. Thanks, Claudio, in the chat. See, that's what you get teammates for. I don't know if I should be thanking you, though, because Fab, can you stick the records up, please? And I have adjusted. By the way, I did over, I took 1.63 or 1.66 off of Matt. So I have amended that. Martin, -2.37. Matt, -13.88. He obviously took 1.66, then lost 2 units. So he's back to really where he was a couple of weeks ago. 20.55 is just an absolute disgrace from me. Team Parlay came up again. So now that's in plus. But total at 33, my -20. I'm nearly up 20 units just on Serie A, but I win on Serie A, so I'll give it to the Premier League. It's almost like my donation to charity. But come on, plenty time to go. Next game, I cannot work out the odds here because you've got Newcastle, Matt, at +300, draw +285, and Leeds are now -105. Sooner or later, Newcastle are going to win. Do you trust Leeds? Odds on away from home at -105 when they've shipped a 4, a 5 away from home. I'm just thinking that maybe there is some value on the home side if you trust that they'll score.
So this is an interesting one. So again, 4 days ago or so, I went through this entire card, and I liked Leeds, Leeds -1 and Leeds on the money line. But I think some things have changed since then. One of the reasons was I didn't think that St. Maximum was going to be available for this clash still. He's going to be ready. He's going to be starting here. I think I'm going to pivot actually a little bit because I do agree with you, Flash. I mean, Newcastle, they've collected two points over their last 10 matches. I mean, they're in some of the worst form that this league has had this season. And they only have 2 days of rest coming into this Leeds clash. Leeds have 10 days of rest. We know about them and how hard they work, what their work rate is like. It's a different type of thing than Newcastle, but Leeds still can get caught out on the break here. It's an interesting one. It's really, really interesting. I think that Leeds do find a way here. They did win the reverse fixture comfortably just a month or so ago. I think they do find it, but I do think that Newcastle score. So any way that you can really kind of bring both of those in, I think the Alex Classic at +100 is in play. I think Leeds, maybe if you wanted some value, both teams to score and Leeds to win, or Leeds. I mean, any of those I think are really, really good. I just can't pick out one right now, but I will be betting this game for sure. So it's just one of those that I've left it for now for my top picks, but it's an interesting clash. I expect Newcastle to bounce back and be kind of ready to go.
Looks like another really tight game, Martin. Draw is on the cards because we've got a team that doesn't score but are really well set up and find a way to get beat against a Leeds side who say, listen, we're coming at you the same way every week. If we get done for, we get done for. But scoring goals is a problem for them against the Newcastle side who, listen, yes, they don't win many games, but they don't no one really turns them over heavily.
Yeah, this is a big game for both teams. I tell you, someone that did turn Newcastle over heavily was Leeds United, beat them 5-2. They absolutely blew them away that day. When they really get the wind in their sails, Leeds can be devastating. We haven't seen it at all in recent weeks. They've been well below par. I'm hoping for their sake that they've restored some energy levels. They had a bit of a rest because they were out of the FA Cup. So, if they're ready for this, if they're going for it, I think they can get the better share of Newcastle in this one. I was initially quite tempted by the odds on Newcastle, but then I re-watched the highlights of that game against Leeds just not so long ago, and they absolutely tore them to shreds. They just had far too much pace and dynamism on the break for them. If they play halfway as good as that against Newcastle this time, I say they win it. And I bet on them this morning at even money. So I'm happy with that.
There's a shock, you getting the value. Half-time, the draw looks on the cards because obviously they don't come out the traps, Newcastle. Leeds, they're happy just to do what they do. It's a game I have to leave alone only because I think there's no value in Leeds, even though they could go and win the game now. What a great game this is. And it's funny how the FA Cup throws up fixtures where you play in the FA Cup and then you have to play the same team in the league at Southampton. Plus 220. Draw plus 250, Martin, and Arsenal at minus 175. Okay, so we had a draw at the Emirates. We then see Southampton win and maybe dominate the game over the weekend, and yet Arsenal are still favourites at plus 175.
Yeah, I think Mikel Arteta got it all wrong against Southampton. He rested like his best players for the FA Cup so that they would be fresh for the Premier League game, which was the wrong way to go about it. They would have had a better chance of success if they'd have started with Saka, with Tierney, with Emile Smith-Rowe in that game. As it was, as soon as you saw the starting lineup, you knew that Arsenal weren't going to win the game. Willian, Pepe and Nketiah are just on at the right level to play in the Premier League or against the Premier League opponent right now. And lo and behold, they're out. Had they played a better team in the FA Cup and won the game, they could have carried momentum into this match. Now, as it stands, they'll be a bit dejected. And even if they bring some better players back, I think Southampton will kind of be in the ascendancy. That being said, the Saints did play their best team, so fatigue might be more of an issue for them in this game, which means can't really work it out. So I have to pass on this one.
I've got Southampton not getting beat. So, I mean, Raymond Redden, he's on exactly the same page as me. He's gone with Southampton draw no bet at plus 138. Matt, I went with Southampton draw no bet, but I only got my plus 125.
Ooh, maybe your bookie didn't help out this time around.
Yeah, or I jumped in too early.
that could be true. So this is one that I think it's pretty clear what the right side is here, and I believe that or I guess the right play just in general is it should be the unders here. It should be an under 2.5. I think it's shaded correctly, but it's kind of, since they just played in the FA Cup and the match was a stone cold under, it kind of puts me off of it a bit. Now that they're going to come back and they just played and defense was a really big focus in the FA Cup. Will it be here? Martin mentions that Southampton probably won't be, they'll be unchanged really. So that's where I would go. I mean, the last 8 Southampton matches have gone under 2.5. I think it's a trend to continue riding because I still like Arsenal under 2.5s under Arteta. So that is where I would be going right now. It's a no bet for me, but I think that it looks pretty good. And I think it's probably the best angle to take because I can't split these two.
Okay, love the fact we got 110 watching when we're so early in the United States and obviously mid-afternoon around Europe, very early here in Costa Rica. Rude Boy, going to get your happy meal from Martin. Don't mind the thumbs down. It's a little bit of interaction. But with 106 of you watching, only 36 of you have either put thumbs up or thumbs down. That's like just over 34, 35%. So please press the button. Make it a thumb blue. Nice one. Next game. What do you do with this one? Matt, West Brom plus 1,700. Draw plus 700. Man City minus 500. The Man City win to 0 again. Or the West Brom score. So we go with Man City and both teams to score.
I think it's Man City win to 0 again. 5 in a row have been win to 0. We're talking about West Brom here. They're going to be sitting back for their lives here and just trying to keep this 0-0 for as long as possible. I don't see any reason to change the pattern really. City win to 0 is a pretty good price. It's around minus 115 to minus 120, depending on where you're shopping. I think that's more than fair to get this side that's in really good form, and they're the best defensive side in the league on your side. So that is where I'll be going.
Okay, Man City wins 0 again, Martin, or do you think that, listen, with the way VAR is, they've only got to get lucky, but obviously they do look good at the back with Diaz and Stones. Stones, for me now, has made himself the number one choice at centre-back for the national side.
Yeah, I agree. He's starting week in, week out and excelling for a team that is the odds-on favourites to go on and win the Premier League title. He looks like he's back to his best. He's keeping things a lot simpler and a bit more no-nonsense in his defending, and it's worked out really well. Interesting question is who would partner him at the heart of defence for England, because, Harry Maguire they would probably go with. I know you're not keen.
Of course they will. He's got something. Listen, I can't work that out.
I don't know if you'd want to play someone like Tarkowski or Lewis Dunk or...
you need the pace in when you get to that national finals. And that's that's why England won't win it, because they've got no pace in central areas. Unless you go with Walker and go with Free.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the way they go for it.
Don't forget about Joe Gomez, too. Gomez will be back.
Yeah, maybe if he proves his fitness in time for the Euros, he could get in. Sure. He's a decent player. In terms of this game, I'm tempted to go for Man City to win 0 as well. They've been very, very solid at the back. That pairing of Stones and Diaz is fantastic. It's good enough to keep Laporte out of the starting 11, and I thought he was one of the best defenders in the Premier League. So, doing very, very well. Is it going to be the West Brom that drew with Liverpool, or the one that rolled over, got battered by Arsenal, lost to relegation rivals? I think Man City dominate the ball, own this game, and win 2-0, 3-0.
Are you worried about De Bruyne being out?
I am longer term, a little bit more longer term, but not for this game. They've got so many quality players like Bernardo Silva, Foden, lots of those players, even Riyad Mahrez that can open up defences. I think in the bigger games, his absence will be really keenly felt, but not against West Brom.
All right. Man City wins 0 then at around -115, -120 is the choice. Now, I cannot work out the price of either side on this game. And the draw is high as well. Martin, Burnley plus 280. They're absolutely flying, not letting in goals, getting points, and they're back to their full strength, scrappy selves. Draw plus 260, and Villa at plus 110. Now, Villa, great. They look good. Even in defeat, they look good. They're passing the ball around. They've got pace. But Burnley away, and you're plus 110. Come on now.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game, a real clash of styles, because Burnley aren't a particularly attractive team on the ball. They they battle hard, they fight for every ball. Ashley Barnes kicks lumps out of you in attack, whereas Aston Villa are kind of quite an aesthetically pleasing team now with Grealish. They pass the ball nicely. Ross Barkley coming into the team. It's a clash of styles, and it'll be really interesting to see which team prevails. I can kind of understand why Aston Villa are the favourites when you see some of the performances they put in this season, but I agree with you that it is a huge price on Burnley, who have looked really good in recent weeks, especially having home advantage in this match. For that reason, I have to leave the outrights alone. I really think that Burnley will score in this game. They look dangerous, putting balls into the box at the moment. But I also think that Aston Villa have enough guile and quality to open up the Burnley defence. So both teams to score for me in this one.
Matt, I see Burnley sitting back, making sure there's no space in behind. When the ball comes in, they all tightly compact inside the width of the 18-yard box. They'll get their wingers back, and then they'll hit it and try and spring them. For me, I've gone with draw no bet Burnley at plus 165. Cannot believe it's plus 165. Listen, a couple of seasons ago, I know how well Villa are doing, but you need to be a really, really top side to go to Burnley and be plus 110.
Yes, this is one that I have left alone for now. I could not really find an angle. It's a tough one because I think if I had to, I would probably play Villa here because they've got the players to be able to hurt Burnley. They really do. When they have all of their midfielders in there, like Barkley and Grealish and McGinn and Ollie Watkins up top, and I think that they could potentially do a number on Burnley. Burnley, it'll be close still, but I like Villa's solidity at the back as well right now. I love their goalkeeper. I just think that I think that Villa are going to scrape this one. I really do. I think there's too much technical ability for Burnley here. That's just kind of the way that I see it, but I've left it.
Yeah, I don't blame you leaving it, but there again, I'm just going to go with the value of Burnley. Draw no bet at plus 165. Then the next game is what you're going to get, and there'll be plenty of people thinking that Wolves double chance is the only way to go because you've got Chelsea at minus 180, draw plus 335, and Wolves at plus 500. Matt, are we looking at draw at the halftime? And also, Chelsea, what team is going to be playing, and are they going to play?
So I had circled Wolves plus 1 minus 110 in this one because Wolves generally against a top 6 side play them tough. We know that. I mean, I know that they're missing still Jimenez and they're not really playing that great, but they've beaten this Chelsea side before. Now with the Lampard axe, it's kind of changed things a bit for me. I mean, you could see a new manager in here and a new manager bounce for the Blues. Maybe they tweak a couple things in their system and they have everything you want really to be able to hurt Wolves. So it's one that I've kind of left and passed for now, but I do think that Wolves plus 1 is probably the way to go just because I don't see them getting beat by a margin here. They're generally tough against the top 6 and that's where I've left it.
It's lineup checking it, mine.
I think it probably is. Yeah, I went for Chelsea to win and over 1.5 goals. That was about half an hour before news broke of Lampard being sacked. I thought this was a really good game for him to cling on to his job for a little bit longer just because they won in the FA Cup, building up a bit of momentum. Wolves are in very poor form at the moment, down in 14th. At Stamford Bridge, it does look like a good opportunity for Chelsea. I'm a little bit nervous now that we know he's been sacked. I'm not sure if Tuchel's going to be in the role by then or if there's going to be a caretaker manager or what exactly the deal is going to be. But either way, I think there's a clear motivation for these Chelsea players to perform in this game. You know, they're going to want to impress a new manager and for that reason, I still think I'm going to go for Chelsea to win the game.
I just don't know who he's going to play, though. And also, do we know about the backroom staff? Have any of them left?
Let's have a look. So I know it's Jody Morris, isn't it? It's Jody. No, he's not mentioned. They haven't mentioned it in this news story here that I'm reading on the BBC. They've just said.
Expect Tuchel, he'll bring in his own men anyway. I just think there's an embarrassment of riches there and square pegs, round holes. All class players, but you've got to be able to put a team together. And at the moment, I think Frank's paid the price for not knowing what his best side is. And also, some of the players he has put a lot of faith into, have not delivered. Let's go with the next one. Brighton, I had them win 2-0 at the weekend and they couldn't keep a clean sheet. Brighton plus 115, draw plus 245, Fulham plus 280. Now, Fulham are scrapping, playing really well. These two, they could be a really, really entertaining game. Because they turn up and they think there's 3 points here and we can both take it. So do you go with Brighton, draw, or you go with Fulham, Martin?
I'm going with Brighton in this one. Fulham are a very, very difficult team to play against, as they've shown over the past couple of months. They've got big results against big teams. They never seem to get the win, but they draw a lot of games. But they have slightly run out of steam a little bit in recent weeks. Pretty limp performance in the Cup yesterday. No shame in losing to Man United and Chelsea, but still, I do think that their squad's a bit smaller. And yeah, I was impressed with the way that Brighton went to Leeds and won that game. I think their performances have been a lot better than their results so far this season, and they do deserve more points than they actually have on the board. I think they're a better team than Fulham. They've got better players and they'll have a pretty good game plan for this one. So at those odds, yeah, I have to go with the home win on Brighton.
I think this is a draw half-time, to be honest, Matt. I mean, it's a really tight and cagey game because both teams won't want to go behind.
I agree. I think a halftime draw here is a really nice play, Flash. It's one that's really tough for me to work out because Brighton have been a both teams to score kind of machine this year. I mean, if you've bet that every week, you're up in profit. And I believe that Fulham have the capability to score at Brighton. So But it's just not something that I'm really interested in. I'm not interested in this game as much. But I did want to just comment on one of the better comments of the day from Rude Boy. He said for his Chelsea Blues, he said Werner to score a hat trick and Havertz to assist all three. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, I've left this one, and I think there's better betting opportunities along the card.
Okay. So would you go? What? I know you're not playing the Brighton Fulham game, but you think draw halftime as well?
I would say draw halftime's a good look. I do. This one's really tight margins.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next game, because I tell you what, I've gone all in here. Everton plus 190, draw plus 240, Leicester plus 155. Leicester scored 3 second-half goals yesterday after going 1-0 down against a good Brentford side. I've got this stone cold draw. Matt.
Yes. Okay. So 3 or 4 days ago, I had played the Foxes on the draw no bet angle, and I can cash out of that really any time because it's about the same price as what it was. But now there's no Vardy, and that is a huge concern for me. I mean, the guy is everything to that team, I believe, and I think that Leicester would really grab the 3 points here on the road because they're so good. They're such a good road side. They play like they check all the boxes when you're trying to bet on a road side, Leicester. So, and they did a good job against Chelsea last week. So, they're in good shape and good form for me. But yeah, now with things happening, I think that you probably have this one right, Flash. I think that the draw is the way to go. I've gone unders here with no Vardy. I think that the defenses are solid enough here. Everton under 2.5s have been coming in recently. And I just think that the drop-off from Vardy to Iheanacho is pretty big. I think it's pretty big. So I think that this one's tight, and I think it's 1-1. I do think both teams probably find the back of the net here, but something does say 1-1, draw, and under 2.5 for me.
Yeah, again, draw at the halftime. Martin seems to be on the cards, but Harvey Barnes, James Maddison, both playing on top of their games.
Yeah, that news of the Vardy absence is just a hammer blow for Leicester.
How long, Martin? How long is he going to be out for?
I think they said like 6 weeks originally. I read the De Bruyne news and the Vardy news at the same time, and I know that De Bruyne was 6 weeks and 10 games. I think he's out for several weeks. Vardy. He's had a problem that he's been nursing for a while. They couldn't let him keep playing through the pain, and he's going to have a minor surgery on it. So that's the sort of thing that can really derail a title challenge for a team like Leicester. You know, he's their star man. He makes everything happen for them up front. I know he's got a lot of quality around him, like you said, Barnes, Maddison, but he's the focal point of that attack, and he's running down the lines, creating space for the team, for the players around him. Like Matt said, Iheanacho is nowhere near in terms of quality, so I think he's going to be a huge loss for them. I would have been happy on Leicester draw no bet if he was playing, but yeah, now I quite like your draw, the way things have gone. Can't really split these two teams. Everton are a bit inconsistent, but I think they should get on the score sheet. Maybe both teams to score if you think that other players will step up in the absence of Vardy. But yeah, maybe a draw. I'm going to have to pass this one.
Well, I don't think Everton get beat. So maybe Everton draw no bet. Everton double chance if you want to pay the juice. Next game, though, looks all over a home side to win 2-0, Martin. But there again, Sheffield United, they're desperate. They are absolutely desperate. And I tell you what, Man United, they always give you that little chance, you know.
They do, but they seem to have the bit between their teeth right now. They just do enough to get victories in every game, which is all you really need against Sheffield United. They scraped victory against them not so long ago. And I think, yeah, they'll probably only win this by 1 goal, but they probably will get the job done. You look at their team, they don't have as much quality as the likes of Liverpool and Man City, but they just manage to pick up the points week in, week out at the moment. And it's just the moment of individual brilliance from Bruno Fernandes or Paul Pogba, Rashford, Martial. That's all they need right now to keep getting the wins. And yeah, I think they'll edge a low-scoring victory against a stubborn but ultimately lacking in attacking quality Sheffield United side.
Well, the big thing with Man United is they come out the traps again. So we always see goals in like the first 20, 25 minutes. Maybe that's the way to go. Let's like maneuver. Let's like give a little bit of a swerve up and go. The bet is a goal to be scored in the first 25 minutes, Matt.
I kind of like that. I think that's a good way to swerve it because this one's really hard to find the value. This is a bet that I believe, I know I was on it. I don't know if Martin was, but it was a Man U and under 4.5 that the 4.5 got busted. So it's tough. This one's tough. I love where United are at right now. I think that Martin touched on all the brilliance of what they have in individuals. Their individual talent right now, when you look at it, and when Rashford's flying and when Pogba and Bruno are playing like this, like they're going to be really, really, really tough to beat. But I do agree that United always kind of give up a chance here and there, and Sheffield will be going for it. Something kind of tells me it's a little bit of a thriller like the last one was, and maybe it's like the value is both teams to score, and you kind of pick on the United defense a little bit, and then you get United to win. But I've left this one. I really don't have. I can't find the value, but United should win. They probably win by a margin here. Maybe 1.5 is worth a look.
The problem I have with Sheffield United is they've got their two fullbacks back healthy and fit, Baldock and Ender Stevens, and they can cause Man United massive problems if they get into that final third, if they're adventurous. Now, I know that Chris Wilder's going to look at this game and go, hey, this is just a bet to nothing. Let's just go out there. No one giving us a chance. And this is a typical game where we might just see that really dour game. But I think a goal early on, maybe Sheffield United can score. The Alex Classic maybe is the value, but Man United at minus 325 is no value. Now, the biggest game of the week, Martin, Spurs plus 225. Cannot believe that price. Draw plus 265. And Liverpool at plus 125. Liverpool failed to score in the league so many games. Creativity, shocking. Midfield, not doing, they're winning like the possession, side to side, down the edges. Perfect for Mourinho to set up, frustrate, and maybe hit him on the break. I was so close to going Spurs plus 225. But then I got draw no bet at plus 125.
Yeah, I've also gone Spurs draw no bet. I just can't really be betting on Liverpool given the form they're in right now. It's all falling apart for them. I was really impressed with the way they responded to the injuries to Van Dijk and Gomez. Things were looking good when they had Fabinho next to Matip at the back, but it's just taken a couple of injuries and things have all sort of fallen apart defensively, and that's coincided with somehow that fabled attacking triumvirate running out of ideas and running out of steam. Salah looked good at the weekend and he was linking up with Firmino quite well, but it hasn't been happening for them in the league. This is a team that lacks balance at the moment. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I know Jurgen Klopp sort of intimated that he's not the man making the transfer decisions and he wanted to sign a centre-back, but it was blocked. He seems a bit disgruntled right now, and I don't know. Yeah, there's something not quite right there. Whereas Spurs, if you look at the form they're in, they've been very solid. They picked up a battling draw the last time these teams met, and they've got a good record against the big teams this season. So I think they'll also set up to frustrate Liverpool. I think actually in the end I went double chance, just Spurs double chance in this game. I can't see Liverpool winning it given the form they're in right now.
No, I can't. I can't see many goals neither. I think this could be a classic. Tottenham win 1-0, maybe even break away in the 80th minute for a 2-0. But I think draw at half-time. I think unders is in play, Matt.
I completely agree. I was on Spurs draw no bet the last time and the under 3 goals the last time. Both of them ended up pushing late on. It should have been, it should have been Spurs got beat, but yeah, it was, I don't remember, but it was the unders were the right play. It was under 3 last time. Now it's at 2.5. I think the bookies have that right. I see this one being low scoring. I've gone for Spurs plus a quarter at minus 105. Give me that little quarter head start. I agree with you guys. I don't see Liverpool winning. How much do you win then?
Matt, how much do you win if it's a draw?
So if it's a draw, I would win half my stake.
Okay,
so if I put a unit on it, I would win, basically like 0.5 roughly. So who's going to start at center half for Liverpool here, really? I mean, is it going to be Reece Williams again? I don't think so. It's probably going to be Henderson. And we've talked about that before, where this is a different type of attacking trio that you're going to come up with if you're going to bring in Jordan Henderson. Henderson versus Son one-on-one on the break. Oh, that does not sound good. And Mourinho will do enough to stifle them. He stifled them in game one. They really, it was a corner goal from Firmino in the 90th minute. I mean, they had that match down pat. I thought that it should have been a draw and it should have stayed under. I think that this one probably is around the draw or Spurs winning, and it stays under. So, yeah, I like both of those looks.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't put anyone off. Maybe both teams to score. No, if Mourinho gets ahead early, he could try and close up shop. Right, let's have a look at the picks, please, Fab, because we need a great week this week. Martin's picks: West Ham draw no bet -140, Leeds +100, Burnley both teams to score -120, Chelsea to win and over 1.5 at -105, Brighton straight win at +118, Tottenham double chance at -135, so Tottenham and the draw. Matt's picks: Everton under 2.5 goals in the game at -110, Spurs +0.25 -105. So if it's a draw, he wins half his bet. And West Ham draw no bet at -129. I've gone with a few draw no bets here. Southampton draw no bet +120. Burnley draw no bet +165. Spurs draw no bet +120. And Everton draw at +225. Shop around because you can get around +240. Now, the parlay's been coming up, gentlemen. We love the parlay. No need for the record. Thanks, Fab. Just trying to remind me of how bad I've been. 2-team parlay. We've loved the team to win and under 4.5. It's brought us back into positive territory. So, Martin, you want to go first? Where are we going to go with the win and under 4.5?
Win and under 4.5. I mean,
we've done maybe 5 out of the last 6 selections in the 2-team parlays of under 4.5, and we've smashed it every time.
Well, it's my classic bet, isn't it? So I'm glad that it has been coming in. This wasn't one of my selections, actually.
No, I know.
Tips, but I would suggest maybe Man United and under 4.5 goals. Looks like a.
Have you got a price?
One. I will get it for you.
Thank you. While you're getting that, can you give me your selection, please, Matt?
Oh, I think that. I don't know. There's not a lot of good under 4.5s, I think, this week. I mean, I do think that is one. That looks pretty good. I think maybe I'd say Spurs like double chance or plus.
Spurs double chance is decent because that's like -135. What's Man United under 4.5?
I think that's a really good way to look. I think that's a good one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to have to do a little bit of housekeeping here. Lila Enlope said Flash gets too excited. Looking for value, that's why his record is bad. Do you want to have a look at Serie A? Do you want to have a look at Bundesliga? I'm 20 units in the Premier League. Nothing. I'm up 20 units just in Serie A and up double digits in Bundesliga. So record's bad. Sort yourself out, Lila. Sort yourself out, all right? And Harry Doherty, Flash doesn't do negative odds, only positive. That's how you win. The bookies want you to have crap bets on crap markets. Okay, like yesterday, Banker, Bayern Munich wins 0, +145. Banker, Swansea, Banker, plus money. Enjoy. What was it, Man United and under 4.5? I'll get off my soapbox.
1.6.
Okay, so 1.6, that's -160. No, -168. Okay, so it's Man United to win and under 4.5 goals at -168. Spurs and what was Spurs double chance, wasn't it? -135. Okay, enjoy. Hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday. Wednesday morning we're going to do Serie A at 8:30 Eastern time, and on Thursday it will be in this order: Bundesliga, La Liga, and Premier League, all on Thursday. Now, remember to follow us on Twitter. That's why we put our names out, because we do in play as well. And you've got Wickham Spurs coming up. I think Spurs far too strong. maybe it's a little bit tight early on and you can get them in play. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Now, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that I'll notify you and you'll not miss any content of any of our shows. And if you press the link in the description, that'll take you over to the articles wrote by either Martin or Tan or Alex or any of the other authors for any of the other sports that we cover on SBR. Please press the thumb, make it go blue. Harry Dockett, says it's black. No, Harry, it's blue. Okay, 123 you're watching. We appreciate every single one of you. Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Matt. Good luck.
Thanks, Flash.